Will's thrilled to be everywhere.
I'm thrilled. Well, I'm not thrilled to be in Sydney, but I'm thrilled to be alive. But
Oh, I'm streaming. Oops.
What?
You can stream instead of record. Amazing.
We were live.
Was that me just yelling and clapping?
I wanted to keep my sexy lights a secret. Now they all know.
Dolphin Pants subscribed for 6 months. Thank you, Dolphin Pants. You can't hear me now because I've stopped streaming, but thank you, Dolphin Pants. This will go in the recording and it'll be great.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the ETTO Comic Cast for July of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. This is our 7th comic cast, and our first one on Black Widow. I don't know if we'll ever do another one on Black Widow.
Yeah, this unless it's about Yelena, I think we might be done with Natasha for a while.
Yeah.
I think so. But this has been great. It's a good series.
It is.
Yeah.
I've also got to stop being shocked when you say the number we're up to, because I get shocked, then I look down at the date, I'm like, well, yeah, it is the 7th month. That makes sense.
Yeah.
We've been doing this since January.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, it's so... Obviously, Black Widow came out at this point of recording about 2 weeks ago. I saw it actually 2 weeks ago from today. I was in the cinema seeing it, William.
Yeah, all right. You can't be now though, can you? Blame it on us anyway, but you can't be seeing movies now. So
no, it's fine.
It's true. They got their revenge.
Yeah. It was just Will. Will specifically got the revenge. He's the super
that's it.
I coughed on that moving van, not the person, just the van. I just stood on I just coughed on it, and I'm like, I know this will get into Melbourne, whether these guys do or not. The van might, so I just coughed on a window and went, off you go.
Yeah,
not off you go.
Yeah,
good,
solid.
I did it.
You did it. He did it. He did it all. I've got a lovely red light. Will's got a lovely purple light. Josh is just white.
Just as usual.
Cream.
He's
just cream. Man. Very creamy over here.
Josh is always creamy.
Yeah.
He's like a good fettuccine.
Yeah. I mean, I make it.
It's the best case scenario.
I make it out like Will and I aren't white. We're just.
We've just got pink hues tonight. Yeah.
Different hues going on. So, yeah. It's impressive.
Need more hues. I need them.
I was just thinking earlier, like, I've got like a red light in the background. Obviously, red is the color you associate with Black Widow, but her name's Black Widow. It's just a bit weird.
There's no red in her name. That's true. There's red in her ledger, though.
There is red in her ledger.
Gushing.
I'm sure.
Gushing.
I'm sure that won't be the first reference to red in our ledger that we have in this comic cast, because boy, does she kill some people. So, as we like to do with these comic casts, we're going to jump into the comic curiosities. Obviously, just to reiterate, we're doing Black Widow from 2016, and we're doing the first 6 issues, co-written, this one, in fact. The first writer, Mark Waid. This man has a big Wikipedia page. I tend to go to Wikipedia for this stuff because it's the easiest way to find out all the things they've done. This man had a big one. Accurate. I actually looked at the page, was like, you know what? I'm going to do the notes for the actual comics first and come back to this because this is intimidating.
Amazing.
But boy, he's been writing some comics. He's been writing comics since late 80s. Good on you, Mark.
Amazing. Well done, Mark.
Yeah, most of his early work in like the late 80s, early 90s was for DC. He did a 8-year stint on the Flash comic. We all know who the Flash is. Guy runs fast, not Quicksilver. And
red. It's red. He's red.
He is red.
He is red.
Unlike
Sometimes.
It all makes sense.
And the well-regarded Kingdom Come storyline. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. I've heard of that. I just know it's like an alternate kind of DC reality. And just a bunch of other like odd detective comics, Batman comics, action comics, all that stuff DC does. They have weird names for their stuff. That's what I remembered today when I was reading through all this stuff. They don't like to call their comics by the actual hero's name. And while he was at DC, he also developed the concept of hypertime to solve continuity issues in the DC universe, alongside Grant Morrison, another very prolific writer. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. And then I read about it, and it was basically like, we need to solve continuity issues, so all it is them saying, "Oh, it's just overlapping timelines." It sounds cooler than it actually is. It's literally just any hand waving solution to this thing.
This is fine because hyper time.
Yeah, basically.
That is a great name for it, though.
It is a great name for it.
Hyper time sounds sick.
Yeah, and I'm sad DC hasn't like continued to use that, because I've never heard them mention that in anything. Instead of like multiverse, they should call it the hyper time.
Yeah, hyper time.
I want to hear that. I want to hear Michael Keaton say the word hyper time.
Yeah,
that's what I want to hear.
That'd be great.
Yeah. And he was also credited with co-creating DC's Elseworlds imprint, which is obviously their
one of many
reality, one of their things before they merged it all into one. So that the Kingdom Come thing came underneath that initially, alongside another series. So yeah, he did a bunch of that early work for DC. He also apparently brought Justice League back to being a cool thing. I don't know when it wasn't a cool thing, but I'm sure Sam could tell us.
He would know.
And then skipping forward a bit, he was briefly editor-in-chief and later chief creative officer at Boom Studios. And he exclusively wrote for them for a couple years in the late 2000s.
That seems like a drop, right?
It does seem like a drop, yeah.
Like creating Elseworlds for DC, which is one of their most famous kind of almost what if situations.
And Kingdom
created it, and then he went to Kingdom Come, and then he went to Boom.
Yeah, it's like working at a fucking Jamie Oliver restaurant and then starting to cook at Macca's.
Yeah, it seems very, very unusual.
It's like working on a good game Spawn Point and then going to Back Pocket.
Oh wow, yeah, nice.
I will just super quickly say as well, making Justice League cool again. I wonder whether that was a '90s situation when when comics just had a huge dip.
They were all just a bit bad.
Yeah, because then you were the next thing is something that happened in the 2000s. So I'm imagining he made them cool in the 90s or towards the start of the 2000s when comics started rising again, and then he went over to Boom in the late 2000s. I guess.
I mean, that's probably it. I think it was him and Grant Morrison that were doing that as well, alongside their hyper time stuff. They were just trying to neaten it all up and make it work again. Good for them.
Makes sense.
It's necessary in comics quite often, as I'll talk about in a little bit with some other stuff. But yeah, definitely a step down. And then basically he's done a lot of work for Marvel at this point. So he started that in the early 2000s, and that's primarily what he does now. So early on he did some Captain America, Spider-Man, and Fantastic Four runs. And then in the early 2010s he started working on Daredevil, which got him and the people he was making it with a bunch of Eisner Award nominations, including the best continuing series at that point in time. We know from previous comic casts, Eisner Award good.
It's good. Whatever it is, when you get it, it means a lot.
Yeah. And so then in 2014, he started a brand new Daredevil run with the artist for the series, Chris Samney, and the co-writer, who we'll talk about in a little bit. A few other things that Mark Waid's done. He also co-created the Champions, who are a very cool team that I like a lot. They're basically Marvel's Young Avengers at the moment.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I feel like, and just I feel like that's probably what we'll get less so Young Avengers, just because
I think so.
I feel like Champions is more exciting as a thing.
Yeah, totally. It's basically Young Avengers. That's all you need to know. But it's got Kamala and Miles and Ironheart and all those characters.
And our favorite, the female Vision daughter. Yeah.
Viv? Yeah.
Viv.
Vision.
Yeah.
The one character that managed to live on from that series.
The whole series. Yeah.
Okay.
He also wrote the most recent Doctor Strange series of comics, starting in 2018. And perhaps most interestingly for you guys, he also penned a series loosely based on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV series, which introduced many of the characters from that show, including May, Fitz, and Simmons, into the comics continuity.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
I really like when the movies cross over into the comics, not the other way around, but they kind of bring people in like Coulson and stuff. Yeah. And Maria Hill has turned up in the comics and stuff since then too. It's
totally.
very cool.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Then yes, Chris Samney, who did a lot on this, co-writer, cover artist, and penciler on all of these.
Calm down, Hugh Jackman.
He initially teamed up with Wade in 2012. Is a good joke, William. Joining him as the regular artist on the Deadpool series that I mentioned, starting with issue 12, the award-winning one. And then they started a new one as the co-creators of the 2014 series. I wrote Deadpool in here. He never worked on Deadpool.
I was going to say, yeah.
I was reading that. I'm like, I have so many of those comics. I was like, but weren't we talking about Daredevil before?
Yeah, it was Daredevil.
Nice.
Right. And then a couple of things he's currently working on. So I found out he's working on an ongoing series with our old mate, Robert Kirkman, from a couple episodes back. Invincible and Walking Dead guy, who's writing this new thing for Image called Firepower. And so I had a brief look into this. It started last year. It looks very interesting. It's basically Kirkman always likes to do his takes and commentaries on classic tropes. This seems to be his take on martial arts comics like Shang-Chi and Iron Fist. And obviously they're quite racist histories.
Yeah, good.
Interesting.
So definitely one to keep an eye on, because I wonder if that's going to be Kirkman's next thing.
His big kickoff, totally.
Well, knowing him, they're never really that big, so
yeah.
Well, he's picking the right time. He's riding the wave of martial arts, kind of hitting Western culture. So
true,
totally.
fair choice.
Totally. And in 10 years, there'll be a TV series and of 8 seasons and a film about it. So
and it'll still star Stephen Yeun.
Yeah,
because it can't be anything relating to Robert Kirkman without him starring.
Hell yeah, it'd be great.
And then this year, he also launched his own self-published, like self-created series, which is very Pixar-esque. It's a fantasy series for all ages titled Jonah and the Unpossible Monsters, which was a bit of a weird name for me to get my head around at first, but I like it. It stars 2 sisters, Jonah and Rainbow, going through a post-apocalyptic world filled with monsters. It looks cute as heck, and it's co-written by his wife, which I think is also very cute.
It is.
And wrapping up for all the creators of this one, we got the colorist Matthew Wilson, also nominated for an Eisner Award in 2015.
Eisner Award!
Amazing. Good on him. Nominated in 2015 for Best Colorist / Coloring. Won in 2018. So big claps to him.
Amazing. I'm going to make a graphic and a sound effect for Eisner Award for next Comic Cast. So you can just drop that in.
Please do. I want that.
Do we know what the awards, like what the comics were?
I didn't know specifically for his, but I would assume, because I'll get to what the kind of stuff he's done soon, it was probably something with either these guys or like a bunch of, he's done a bunch of good stuff. I'm going to run through it in a sec. Cool. But a couple of things from his Wikipedia page, which I thought were kind of nice. According to CBR, which I think is Comic Book Resources or something, they're a website, have a lot of articles and stuff. He's one of comics' most in-demand colorists. I don't know where they get that from, but good for him. And then I did actually like this. On Wikipedia, it says, Wilson sees the choice of palette to be crucial whether for the story and the specific scene, as they're the first thing a reader sees when they open the book, relating to the emotion, location, and time within a story. Additionally, he emphasizes color theory as crucial before the use of other rendering techniques such as textures, highlights, and shadows. He also stresses the importance of working with the rest of a book's creative team from the outset and throughout. And I wanted to mention that because there's very bold use of colors and shadows and stuff very much throughout, so I can see where that like philosophy comes through.
Yeah, totally. I had a note about that, like just a lot of things are very dark or like flat colors and stuff, but you always know where she is because of the red hair. Even if she's wearing a disguise, sometimes it's just the tiniest amount of like red somewhere like peeking out from the back of a hat or something, and you're like, I know where she is, even though she's in a disguise. And you could, if that wasn't there, you would have no idea that was meant to be her. Just that tiny bit, and it's like he does it so well. It's very, very well designed. I like it.
Yeah, I can see why they think he's one of comics' most in-demand colorists, because his work, like, I don't normally notice the color as much as I notice the specific art, but I feel like the color is a real standout of a lot of this comic.
And it's a style that I feel, I don't know if it happened before this one, but it's a style that I think's permeated all the Black Widow runs from here. Like a lot of them have this style, and it's just never left. So yeah, for sure.
I I was going to mention that I've been reading a lot of Black Widow comics recently, obviously, because the movie came out. And I wanted to save this one till last because I knew we were doing this comic cast. So I basically got all the other ones out of the way.
Yeah.
And definitely there's a change around this one. Like the most recent stuff very much continues this kind of
totally
kind of blocky colored style. I'm sure that's not the official artistic term, but don't murder me or anything, artists.
We're not artists. We have shit like red lights on. Like, there's no way we know anything about that.
Yeah, we do. All of us.
We all do. But yeah, and as we can tell, most in-demand colorists, he's only been in the scene for like 10 years, but he's worked on a lot of great series. So he's worked on Swamp Thing, which a lot of people really love. I haven't read much of, but I know it's a very popular thing. Secret Avengers, which was during their Secret Wars phase. Young Avengers, that original run, with Kieran Gillen, who he also worked on The Wicked and the Divine with, which I actually own. So I'm looking forward to reading that at some point.
Very nice.
That's an Image comic. Paper Girls, another Image comic, which I also own. And I'm looking forward to reading. The Mighty Thor, which was with Jason Aaron. That's the one with Jane, I believe. I believe Mighty Thor is the Jane one.
Yes, yeah, totally.
The Star-Lord comic, which I think, Will, you've read?
I think I did, yeah. Like, this was the solo kind of series.
Yeah,
which was great.
You bought some of them back in the day, didn't you?
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, I think I got the first 5.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. But that's just like some of the stuff he's worked on in the past 10 years. And those are like all well-renowned comics. Those are the ones I pick out from it. So I'm like, I can understand why he's very well regarded amongst his peers. Surprised he hasn't won more Eisner Awards. Maybe we need to lobby for that on the internet with our massive pool.
Yeah.
That's it.
Dolphin.
Yeah, Dolphin Pants can do it for us. You've got all those TikTok views. He's worked closely with Sam Neill as well a lot. He did color the 2014 Daredevil run that I mentioned, this Black Widow series, the Firepower stuff they're doing with Robert Kirkman, and also Sam Neill's Unpossible Monsters book. So those two are like the penciling colorist duo, and love working with each other, which I think is very nice. And then the other ongoing stuff he's a part of includes Runaways and Marauders. And I just have a note here that I love Marauders. The current Marauders run is really cool. I've been really into X-Men comics recently. And again, that's one of those comics where I'm like, man, the color really pops in this and is really like that's one of the things I would talk about when I'm talking about that comic. So cool. It's like, I try and like bring up all the different creative involvements in these comics, but on this occasion I was very much like, I want to talk about the colorist because he's done a lot of stuff and it's very notable, I feel like, across all these, as we'll get into.
I just wanted to point out something real dumb that I noticed when I first started. I was just looking at the front cover of the first issue, looking at the names here. You've got Wade, Sam Neill, and Wilson. And I was just like, Wade Wilson and Sam Wilson? Deadpool.
They're in here?
Falcon? What the hell? Such a funny...
I didn't even notice that, but I'm glad you brought it up.
So dumb.
And the last of these comic curiosities, it's a long one, sorry, but these guys all have done a lot of stuff and are very cool. But this is just like a summary. This was part of Marvel's all new, all different reboot, which basically had a lot of like, they changed up a lot of stuff. It was after their big like multiverse coming together Secret Wars thing, which I'm sure is coming in the MCU. But like the other kind of things we got from that were X-23 taking over as Wolverine, The Vision, which was another one of the comics we did, Old Man Steve, Sam Captain America, Jane Foster Thor, Ta-Nehisi Coates Black Panther, which is like apparently one of the best Black Panther runs ever, and a lot more of like Spider-Gwen, Miles, and Miss Marvel. So, and I was just going to say, I think that's one of their better universe reboots they've done. That's a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, totally. I feel like that was the last strong one. The Heroes Reborn thing that's going on at the moment is very weird and just, I feel like, a bit of a misstep for Marvel. But that was the big one. And then, was that the same? No, I think it was the previous one, like 2012, where it was like all the number ones that Josh had to deal with. I think that was a great reboot as well.
Yeah, Marvel Now.
Marvel Now. Yeah.
Was the reboot from there. Yeah.
And then this was like, and I think at the moment it's called like Marvel Fresh Start or something.
Yeah, right.
I would say that they lost some
Bad
of those.
name.
Bad name, and they also lost some of these more unique takes and stuff. I guess like they kept obviously some of the popular characters, but I don't really see them doing a lot of like new stuff these days, which kind of sucks. They've gone back to like their Steve Rogers caps and like your like Thor. What's his?
Totally.
I was trying to work out like his actual name, and I was like, his name's
Thor.
Blake. So I don't know. Maybe soon they'll go back to some of this stuff, but I guess it's more there's so much MCU stuff coming out that they just want to be tying into whatever it is. So that's probably
for sure.
what it really is. But yeah, that's all the comic curiosities for today. A lot of them. We're 20 minutes into this podcast and we haven't got to the issues.
Let's talk about Black Widow.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Issue 1. We start and Natasha has stolen something from S.H.I.E.L.D. They are inside a big S.H.I.E.L.D. facility. And I just want to say at this point, I've read very few Black Widow comics where Natasha isn't an enemy of S.H.I.E.L.D. in my recent through Black Widow comics. S.H.I.E.L.D. always hates her, or like she's on the run from S.H.I.E.L.D. or something happens with S.H.I.E.L.D. So I'm just glad they got it out of the way early, and it's just like the start of it this time.
Yeah. It's certainly a way to start.
It's definitely
huge.
Very
like great action packed. Yeah. The whole issue.
Yeah.
It's very short.
It's very short.
I thought I was about 5 pages in and it ended.
Very short, not a lot of dialogue, but like in a good way.
Just a chase. Just a quick chase.
I also wanted to point out there's a point where she like flicks back and breaks someone's nose, and I just love whenever someone tries to write broken nose dialogue. It's always a bit different and a bit weird. And I just wanted to shout out whoever had to do that this time, because you did your best. And I think you maybe slightly pulled it off, but I can't really remember. At this point, Dolphin Pants mentioned that they did like a little censorship thing, which is quite different in this, where they have like a little black bar over the swear words instead of
just like asterisks and stuff
and ASCII and stuff, which I think is quite cool, and it works super well for like Black Widow especially. With all,
it looks like redacted.
It looks like redacted stuff, which is very spy espionage. Cool.
And Jade also said at this point, this goes straight into boom bang action without explaining exactly why this is happening. Sure, Black Widow stole something, but what and for what purpose?
Very cool.
Mysterious. It's a very good like almost cold open into this comic.
Definitely.
And then we get her jumping out of a window through a big explosion. We do have we have the comic up here. We have this page of explosion, which was like I will say is the first point in the comic where I was like, oh, damn, this is like, the art is beautiful in this. Because beforehand I was like, oh yeah, just, it looks fine. It's good. There's fights going on. And then they have this and I was like, man, that's beautiful.
Fucking, the eyes are wild.
Yeah.
So
I think
good.
Josh wanted to mention something with this one as well.
I did, yeah. So as soon as she jumped out, I was really expecting a little bubble up in the top, just going, okay, so this looks bad. Being the Hawkeye Matt Fraction thing, like it's just, this is what happens in every Hawkeye Matt Fraction comic book. I'm like, I was really hoping that would pop up somewhere, but unfortunately it didn't. It's
As
pretty
you know
good.
from us here at the Comic Cast, we all love Matt Fraction Hawkeye.
We do.
And I'm sorry if I say this in a lot of these, but a lot of this comic gave me major Fraction vibes. On a few different occasions, as well as like the art style, I would say as well. And Jade also said at this point, Black Widow must be cool because she does not look at the explosion. She's not looking at it at all. She just jumped out.
She's in it. Look at her. She's like surrounded in smoke.
And she's not looking at it.
Your eyes are going off.
But yeah, the cutaway from this into the wide shot of the helicarrier is just wonderful. And it's just her tiny little body just floating down, because it looks up until this point like they're in an office building, and then all of a sudden they cut back and it's the helicarrier. And you're like, oh damn, that's very cool.
So sick.
I did not expect the flying car at this point. I don't know if any of you guys, especially like a 50s style car.
Totally. It's like big Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. What's his car in that? Whatever it's called, the red one. This just reminded me how like boring S.H.I.E.L.D. is in the MCU. Like there's so much cool shit going on in the comics for S.H.I.E.L.D. and for like AIM and all the different bits that we've had in there. It's like, come on guys, just have fun with your secret organizations. Like, it made me sad that we haven't had flying cars in the actual, like, outside of S.H.I.E.L.D., Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, the whole jumping out of the helicarrier scene, mid-air tussle, all very cool. Love a good mid-air tussle. We got it in the Black Widow movie. Remarkably, no one got hit by any debris in that, but that's...
Oh my god, the friggin' shot of Yelena just, like, falling through the sky and all the debris just parts, like the Red Sea. It's like, what's actually happening right now?
Yeah, totally.
I do love the little, like, there seems to be pretty strong connections between this comic series and the movie. Or at least the MCU in general. Like, there's a whole bunch of very strong connections between the two.
I think I was surprised reading it today because I almost wonder if they pulled a lot of stuff for the movie from this particular run. Because as I said, I've read a lot of the recent ones, and this had the most like similar to the movie moments for me on a lot of occasions.
Totally.
For better and for worse. But anyway, then we move into the motorbike / flying car chase scene. And my main note here was that I don't really describe comics as cinematic, but if a comic can be cinematic, this comic is cinematic. Just throughout this entire last bit, from like the chase into the transition into like the gritty close hand-to-hand combat that they have towards the end. It's beautiful. I think I have it up here. I got a few. Got this. This is like good like action on motorbikes going through the city. Looks real fast and sweeping and stuff. And then you get into the nice
great angles and
gritty
There's
angles.
so many parts that like I screenshotted to remember, and I was like, this is just a wallpaper. Like I'm good. I can just crop this in and it's a good phone wallpaper.
There's one of them coming up later that I have like pulled up in these. The way, as we mentioned earlier, the way the shadow and color is used in this last little fight as well, between random shield guy and Black Widow is very, very beautiful. I also like how like I don't know, it's just cinematic. That's the only word I could think of when I was reading it. There's very little dialogue or anything. Lots of little bits of like onomatopoeia and
so
kind
cool.
of thing. But yeah, I love it. I love it a lot.
Very cool.
The Dolphin Pants at one point said, did she just butcher a man with a rock? And this is the thing I will say about this issue. Very brutal. Very brutal immediately. To the point where it makes me a bit sad with the films we get, that we don't get this level of violence for like some of the characters that are clearly doing that kind of stuff. Like
characters that are fine with blowing up children.
Yeah.
Should probably make someone bleed or something at some point, maybe.
For a character that continually gets to reference a lot of red in their ledger, you don't see a whole lot of red coming out of...
Whereas on these pages here, we do see a lot of red.
There's some red. There's some red.
But yeah, no, I totally thought this is a great setup point. The whole chase into like the final fight scene. It was like I reticent to call like comic stuff scenes and stuff, but it's like that's what it feels like. It feels like we're going from scene to scene here, and it's very cool.
Totally.
Dolphin Pants mentions here that this is what Nat should have done in her solo movie, and I agree. I think that was kind of a through line for a lot of this. Is I felt like, oh man, imagine if this was the movie versus what we actually got, which was weird MCU technology.
It's a hybrid movie,
hybrid mix. I don't know. It's just like, this to me feels like what Black Widow should be.
Like they had it there because she is an enemy of the government and S.H.I.E.L.D. and stuff. So they're after her. They're trying to chase her down.
Copy and paste this comic.
You have a whole comic to go off. Just use it.
It's literally that same like storyline all the time. She's always an enemy of S.H.I.E.L.D., but they had it set up in the MCU. You're so right. And it's just and as I said, it seems like they pulled other parts of this comic, so I'm just surprised that That wasn't. They didn't go harder into like this gritty side of things. But you know, it's the MCU. It's Disney. What can they're not going to get too. Not going to get too gritty, at least for now. Maybe with Deadpool. No, Deadpool's funny. Deadpool's too.
I mean, it's R-rated. We're definitely locked into R-rated, which is nice.
I mean, my hope is that when they do that, they're more willing to do other R-rated stuff. But I'm not convinced.
Yeah, no, but I mean, Blade's got to be at least MA or something, right?
Surely Blade.
Yeah,
surely that's where you do it. I don't know.
We'll see.
Come on, Disney. Everyone who watched your old films is like 20 now anyway.
Yeah.
That's it.
20, 30.
Yeah.
Well, no one cares. Kids don't need to watch it. Leave the kids at home. We'll go watch Blade with cut off people's heads. It's fine.
And if you don't have kids, you're great. You're fine. You don't have to worry about leaving kids at home.
Exactly.
Just go to the movies.
You already make MODOK, kind of. Josh and I love that. Will doesn't. But that's
the fun stuff.
It's fun. It's violent. Will thinks it's pointless. And on that note, we're going to move on to issue 2.
Yeah.
At which point, another very violent scene, but also very nice. I thought this rainy cemetery scene at the start of issue 2 was like the perfect Black Widow video game stealth scene.
Yeah, it's Hitman.
And it's Hitman, yeah. It made me just want a Black Widow video game. Like Square Enix or whoever wants to make... whoever is making Marvel games... please give me this.
Yeah.
It makes so much sense. Why isn't there a Black Widow stealth game? It's just
why is there a Black Wilson game?
why isn't there a Black Wilson game? Why isn't there a game about Sam Wilson?
Good. I'm glad you said it.
Good, yep. I was like,
Yeah.
I just don't want it to come out wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Again, no one at Shield likes Black Widow at all. Hill never likes her. I don't. I don't even get why they even work with her at this point. They're never on good terms. Cut the ties at some point, Maria. Surely. I know you're like, but she's just so good at her job. But surely at this point, it's not worth it. No one likes her.
Yeah. Is this cemetery thing? I was trying to work it out. Is this a time jump before she stole the stuff, or is this still current?
This is post still.
It is still post?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was trying to work out, because like she was talking to people, and I'm like, who is she talking to? Because I thought she was talking to people from S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
In comms. So I'm like, I thought this was pre. I don't know. I couldn't
was
quite
a bit
work
confused.
this out.
I also thought she was talking to people in S.H.I.E.L.D. in this little bit. But I think it's more of a... I think... in the end, she'd stolen one of the earpieces of the people she's trying to fight. That's what I caught in the end. But it's all very weird. I will admit, the actual dialogue going on here is a bit confusing. But it's very cool and very stealthy. And
it looks great, but I feel like I didn't take in anything that was actually...
Totally.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, Dolphin Pants is like, I really have no notes except Nat is a badass. Jade says, I super like how she stabbed the guy and led him away under an umbrella, all subtle like, which I also thought was very cool.
That was pretty cool, yeah.
And then Jade also did a little Russian translation for us, because there are a few little bits of Russian that we get given in this. And apparently the internet says that, let me try and pronounce this, Zdravstvuyte.
Wow.
I think I
nailed it
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a formal Russian hello, everyone. So
there you go.
say it with me.
Yeah.
I'm sure that'll come through brilliantly. But yeah, I thank you for teaching us that, Jade. I'm very grateful.
Very interesting.
Then we also got a Does Vidanya later on, which is one I feel like I hear all the time. I know that one's goodbye. So now we can say hello and goodbye in Russian.
There you go.
Really, I think we can all travel to Russia for a
That's really
to go.
Yeah. From here we move into interrogation in the Lion's Den, which to me I was just like, this is just Widow in Avengers, right?
Yeah,
that's what I wrote. Yeah,
out of Widow.
Like, this looks familiar.
Yeah, straight out of Black Widow being introduced in the Avengers, just with lions and a man with a stake.
Yep.
And a bit of blood. One dude's head is literally like exploded into bits in one of the panels. And we get introduced to the character, the Weeping Lion. And Jade thinks it's a lame code name.
Fair.
What do you guys think? What do you think about the Weeping Lion?
It's not great.
It's not great, and you also feel like his design is very it could be literally anyone.
Yeah, it could be.
So every time he turns up, I'm like, "Are you a goon or you're the dude?"
Yeah, that ties in nicely to what Dolphin Pants said at this point, which was Zemo, no, just another man with a black balaclava and a fluffy jacket.
Yeah.
It is very much that kind of thing. And I love this because at the end, obviously, they reveal that they have the papers. They have some blackmail that they're doing on Black Widow, and they have something that she can't let get out at all. I will say it's funny once they eventually release that, and I'm like, I feel like you could have let that get out and maybe just explain it, but anyway.
Yeah.
And then me, Jade, and Dolphin Pants all had different takes on what is going on here. So I said, I think I know what's on those papers. It's what went down in Budapest. Which we really didn't need getting out because, as we know now, you blew someone up and that's not okay.
Yeah, that's not cool.
You literally blew up a child.
You didn't die, guys. It's fine.
It's fine. Yeah. So they're fine.
You can harm a child and it's okay.
You can very severely harm a child, but
that's right. As long as they don't die, and you're all good.
Yeah, just like in Budapest, hey.
That's right. Yeah.
And then Jade says, "Oh no, he found photographic evidence of her teenage goth phase while she had braces or something." Also very good. And then Dolphin Pants says, "Not Zemo got Nat search history. Incognito mode didn't cut it this time."
Good. Very good.
But I appreciate that we're all on the same page there. We all like, this is a funny joke that we can all make.
Yeah.
I like that you titled that section of notes "Paper Memes."
Paper memes.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the symmetry bit of this issue, I think, but the whole Lion's Den thing felt very much like I've seen this so many different places before. Like literally, I've seen the Widow scene in Avengers. And there's always something that you can't possibly get out. So,
but it also doesn't matter later.
But it also doesn't matter at all later. Which I think is maybe like one of my overarching issue with this series. I liked it, but I don't think I liked it as much as I would have liked to, because I think at times when it looks like it's going to be interesting, it heads far more down the tropey side of things, which
it's like the movie.
Just like the movie, yes. And heading into issue 3, which we start off with multiple different people feeding Black Widow a message, which Jade points out is super inefficient. What if one person got the timing wrong? And I just like the idea of someone, like they have all the operatives set up ready to give this message, and they're like, all right, Jerry, you ready? Yeah. All right, Terry, you ready? And then it's like, Dave, where are you? Dave, we need you to go now. Oh, crap. And then it just goes out of order.
Yeah. It's pretty good. Yeah. But it's a very cool kind of couple of pages where it's just like,
it is.
The people either side, you just get like speech bubble, left and right.
It's
piecing together this whole message.
Very cool device. But as soon as Jay pointed out how inefficient I was like,
it could go wrong.
Can't think of it any other way now. And then Dolphin Pants says, if I saw Black Widow walking down the sidewalk in a full getup, I would nope the fuck out of there so fast. Which I very much agree with. Everyone here on the sidewalk, just very chill. I'm sure they've all seen Black Widow before. Like, she's not in any disguise here. I'm literally looking at the page from the comic. She is wearing a regular Black Widow getup with her bright red hair. And no one really cares. But I will say what is on this page is I love the way they illustrate Natasha laying the tripwire here. So this was the point where I was like, this feels very Fraction Hawkeye. David Aja, I think, does the art for that. This felt a lot similar to that, just like block colors in the background and just showing like a body part or like a silhouette of something, and like just like a line, but it's like showing something that's in reality very complicated and a very intricate action. They do it so well in just a few different panels.
Yeah, such cool like action panels.
Yeah, totally.
And yeah, I love the way, like, this is probably, I don't think I took too much notice, but just looking at it now, again, the connection to Fraction's Hawkeye, not Hawkeye's Fraction.
Yeah.
With the way they draw the faces, so it's like you get minimal but some like facial features, but they're always like blocking out the eyes, or the eyes are like so far away that they're just kind of slits or whatever.
Yeah, totally.
So it's just like very minimal stuff, but then you get the real good detailed close-ups, like the one of just Widow's right eye. Looking behind her and stuff. It's like,
it's great.
Yeah. Such a strong style.
It's just one of my favorite things about reading comics is just like all the different, like, there's so many different artists, colorists, and everything, and all their different ways of like telling a visual story. When you only got a set number of panels in each page, you've got to get some kind of, like, as I said, very intricate action described, and the different ways in which people tackle it, I always find super interesting. And so I just want to shout this one out in particular as one that I very much liked. I like the little twang. Even the way she's in the first hand panel, where she's kind of like, you can see the string and she's not quite pulling it tight yet. Yeah. You can see how delicate her hand is kind of holding it, and how it's like just sort of loosely wrapped around, and it's got like, you know, a bit of a woman's touch, and you can see that. Like, there's something about the way she's holding it. You're like, it's such a delicate hand position, but they've done it into the twang, which I think is
that's so clever.
And it's just so strong. It's a really cool kind of juxtaposition of force. I like it.
Totally.
Very
totally.
Great art.
But if you ever thought we couldn't go in depth on like 2 panels of art, we can. So just wait till we get to Faction Hawkeye, because that's gonna be 3 hours.
Shut up.
3 hours of this panel.
A podcast per issue.
And then once again, another time where one of our lovely feet. That's the word, right? One of our lovely feet. Toes?
Toes.
Is it toes? Toes make
toes individually.
Feet is everyone.
Yeah. One of our lovely toes, Dolphin Pants, was again on the same page for me, where I saw this next page and I was like, man, this is just Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. Dolphin Pants gave us Where in the World is Natasha Romanoff. So
that's it.
Very nice.
Yeah,
got the hat.
Shout out to that game.
Sick.
One of the first games I ever played.
Really?
Yeah, actually it was. So I guess we have that game to thank for me doing this now and all the stuff I do.
True.
So there you go. Little Ben
Thank you, Carmen.
there for you. Thank you, Carmen. But yeah, no, it's always nice when this pops back up in my head and I'm like, oh, fun memories. Back when my family had a PC and this was like the only game on it. Because I didn't realize until recently that Carmen Sandiego is an educational game. As a kid, I never realized that. But it makes sense
a video game.
But yeah, no, so
which probably makes it one of the best educational games. Because generally, you know when you're playing an educational game.
Yeah.
If you don't realize, then that's a good education.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to be able to disguise a game called Mathletics.
Very good.
Love Mathletics.
Yeah, bet you do.
Josh would love Mathletics.
I did. I played so much of that. My teacher printed off 3 pages worth of all of the exercises I did the day after they introduced it to us. It was like, this is what Josh did, and it was 3 pages worth.
Amazing.
Like, sorry.
Oh, Josh, you're such a maths nerd, and that's why we
love it.
So
good.
And then we switch over to the Red Room, which it's not a Black Widow comic without some kind of Red Room reference. I was very confused here, because why isn't it a giant flying spaceship? That's what I thought the Red Room was. Why is it a giant flying circle?
Why is it just a castle?
Above St. Petersburg. Why is it a castle? That's so boring. Actually, it's not boring at all. Why the hell was it a giant space station? I just need to get that.
Better question.
Yeah,
because they bought the rights to the film Moonraker, and they're like, you know what's funny? What if we just do that?
Yeah.
What if we just do that?
Yeah.
What if more helicarriers? What if Avengers 1 helicarrier falls out of sky again?
Yeah. What if we just make the Winter Soldier, but worse in every aspect?
Yeah.
It sounds like I totally hate the film. I like it.
It's a great movie. That is where it literally falls apart.
Yeah. But yeah, I wrote a bit later on in this issue that once they actually head into the Red Room and it's like a little ruined castle, like catacombs kind of thing, 100% should have been the vibes they gave us in the movie or whatever. It's got like weird occult kind of creepy, haunted vibes.
It's a lot more in line with like the quick bits in Age of Ultron.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
They're so much more interesting, and I'm just like, I get why you MCU-ized it, but man, this would have been so cool. And when like I heard the early previews of the film coming out, and people were like, "Oh yeah, it's like Winter Soldier, it's super mysterious and stuff." It's like, "Oh, they're gonna do that. That sounds really cool."
Yeah, space.
Nah, space, big space station, big space station explode. Yeah.
Dust can save everyone. If you just inhale this dust, we're good to go. We love the movie.
It just made me realize, isn't that a thing in the Spider-Man game as well? Isn't that magic red dust?
Maybe.
It's some kind of magic dust exactly like that, that just does the opposite thing. So yeah.
It's every Spider-Man thing ever. They just release something to breathe.
Some sort of toxin. Yeah.
But yeah, there's a page in this little Red Room section, which is I'm just going to bring up now as well, because when Will mentioned earlier that some of these are just made for wallpapers, I feel like this is like the one. This is beautiful. It's her fighting. I think it's like a random Red Room guy, but the fact the overlays of like the ballet into it all, just cutting into the final bit at the bottom with her in a ballet pose, having maybe killed this guy. I don't know. In present day, it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful.
It is. Anyone that's listening to this as a podcast, jump over to the video version just to have a look at this one panel, because it is
totally
stunning. Very, very cool color as well.
Very cool color. The flow of,
like I said before, just a lot of matte colors and strong reds.
Yeah, totally. I like the first time I looked at this, I didn't even notice that they were fighting in the background. I was just like, "Oh, cool ballet stuff," and I was like, "Oh, I see what's actually happening here." Yeah.
Very cool.
But yeah, like they do this kind of across the issue where the way they like seamlessly meld the flashbacks with the present day is very cool. Where she's going through the Red Room, and they don't really they do have a few where it's like a full flashback page, but a lot of the time it's just like a ghost walking through it almost, and they're like messing with like opacity and stuff, which I think is a really neat way of doing that kind of flashback thing while still keeping the comic like moving super well. I think I have it in this next one where it would have been kind of cool and interesting if they somehow incorporated more of that sort of like weird ballet into the movies too. If she like finished a fight like fiddling on her toes for some reason. Flourish, exactly. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's so cool. I like it.
We get like that glimpse in Age of Ultron.
Yeah,
which I feel like it's very much this kind of vibe, and then it's just like nah.
It's just been like a cool style to the fights.
Evil dude does evil things.
That's it.
And then Black Widow gets stabbed. By a random kid who I thought was her friend Anya that they've been setting up this whole time. It was very confusing, especially when in the next issue it's not Anya is older, but this kid that they got to stab her looks exactly like her. I don't know. I just
I thought it was like a metaphorical stabbing and something else happened. I thought she was stabbed by herself. Is how I read it, and I was like, "Oh, this is interesting." No, it's just a little kid.
Yeah, because there's so many, like you said before, there's so many ghosts in and out of this. You're like, I don't know if this is real or not.
Well, I was at this point, I was going to compliment them on how well they it's very clear what is in the past and what is in the present, and then at the end, I was like, "Oh, they're trying to blend it over." But no, it's just confusing. So they do so much good stuff to set it up, and you're like, oh, this is a really cool payoff to it. It's like some kind of ghost stabbing or something, but no, it's just she just got stabbed.
A little confusing.
But then Dolphin Pants' final comment on this one was the one that really made me laugh. Mainly because if you don't know, Dolphin Pants made some wonderful edits to do with the whole Budapest meme and Black Widow. And he says, "Will Nat murder this child? Find out in the next issue." Famous for ambiguously murdering children.
Love it. Yeah. Love it. One thing just before we move to issue 4, but totally. When she goes down into this basement to, do her exploring and stuff, and relive some of her past, she reaches under a bookcase looking for this knife that she ends up getting stabbed with, and it kind of shows a flashback of her hiding it there, I think.
Yeah, totally.
When she was a kid. And this just felt like the movie, because she hides the gun in Budapest in like this little this area, but the gun was there in that.
It's true.
It would have been kind of cool if the gun wasn't, and the person behind her, who she ends up fighting later, ends up with that gun. That would be kind of cool.
That would have been very cool.
Yeah, good connection to the movie there.
Yeah,
well,
totally.
The movie was probably more connected to this.
Yeah.
Being 5 years prior.
5 years? Yeah, 5 years, man.
Yeah.
It's 2021. I don't like thinking about that too much. On to issue 4. Snow Times with Yosef. Yosef with an I, of course. Very good visual storytelling to start all this off, I will say. We have this lovely little bit of like kind of like chromatic aberration going on, and like the flashes between like in and out of consciousness is very good. And then it cuts into like Natasha being unsure if she's in like a dangerous position or something on like a full double page spread, which is also very good. But yeah, I think the first like 2 or 3 pages, except one page where there's a flashback, is just like no words, and it's just pictures, which I thought was very nice. I love it. I love it when the visual storytelling is strong enough that you know exactly what is happening. Using comics as a medium as like a proper, like not a proper, using them with like all the different tools you have available. Using text where necessary, but if it's better not to use text.
Yep.
Just show us what's happening. Show, don't tell. But sometimes tell, don't show. Just, you got to know when to do it. That's why you guys are writing these comics and not us.
Yeah, that's why you're getting the Eisner Awards and we're not.
Yeah. Jade mentions at this point, most of us can't hit snooze on the ravages of time, which is a quote from Yosef in this bit, and asks, is Black Widow immortal or something, only dipping in and out of various Marvel comics? This is the point where I'm going to pull on my recent Black Widow reading knowledge. I think she is like some level of immortal, or she's taken in some kind of, I think there's like a serum that she takes to retain her youth. I don't think it's just like her youthful looks. I think there's an element of like, she's actually like extending her life, but it's not like a super soldier serum. I don't know. It's very weird. It's basically one of those comic things where they're like, we need to explain why this character hasn't aged a day in 50 years.
Yeah. I remember seeing a lot after the Black Widow movie, that movie that was so long ago, that people were kind of hoping that it would, something to do with the Red Room would explain a lot of Natasha's abilities, because she can just not die a lot in the movies.
Not
like
at all.
She takes hits that are probably stronger than what Cap ever takes.
She does in the film. She did the like falling down and hitting a roof and flipping over like Cap does in Age of Ultron. I think it's Age of Ultron.
Civil War. I think.
Civil War. Civil War. Sorry. Totally. That is like she does that.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a super soldier serum.
It's that weird thing where when you're dealing with characters that are not super powered in like a super powered universe, you've either got to stay really consistent and be like, no, this is different to everyone else, or kind of just like bring them up to everyone else's level. And I think the problem with Black Widow a lot of the time is they're unsure which way to go. So it's either she can do super flips and she is literally a superhero, or no, she's just a normal person.
She's lower than Hawkeye.
And it's just not to harp on the movie too much, but it is very funny to me in that movie how much they kind of try and reiterate that she's a normal person, but then all that stuff happens. Like they at least
pick a side.
At least don't mention it if you're gonna base your movie around it.
Yeah.
And then we get the reveal of the dark room, which is a choice. It's the classic new version of a thing, but make it dark. I was like, as I mentioned in the previous issue, I was like, oh man, this red room's so cool. It's like classic, it's creepy. And then they just go to
the boring version.
Boring new red room. This one isn't in space, but it's basically the same concept. So now I'm realizing this is exactly where they got that idea from. Even friggin' Marvel's Avengers got it right. Yeah.
Their red room's sick.
Yeah, it's very cool. And I hope they do more of that stuff. Come on, Avengers. You can do it. You can do it. I feel like that.
Well, they brought it back. You can go and play them now.
They did bring it back.
Oh, did they bring it back? Is it back?
I think it's there till tomorrow. I think the same thing's happening again. I think it's the 22nd of July.
Amazing. It's almost like I'm on these subreddits daily and I still don't know what's going on. Dolphin Pants did make a funny comment here, which was that the Dark Room is the reject shop version of Thor 2. It's the Black Widow version of Thor 2.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And it has similar vibes once they actually get there, I feel. And also, our mate Yosef says Iron Man is an amateur, which started on the Iron Man Iron Man hate train early in this one, but I'm happy. There'll be plenty more Iron Man to come, Josh, don't you worry. And the last thing that Dolphin Pants mentions, which is also something that I very much felt, is that the snow just reminds me of that Last of Us 2 level, that Last of Us level when they're in the snow, and it's what's his name? What's the cannibal guy?
Nathan Drake.
Nolan
North. Mike?
Nolan North's character.
Mike?
Is it Mike?
Dave?
I feel like it might be Mike. Maybe Dave or Mike. I'm going to look it up. Continue.
Anyway, but yeah, for some reason I majorly got those vibes as well, and I was like, I wonder if anyone else is thinking this. Those are my weird references.
David.
But then once again, David, Then once again, Dolphin Pants is like, no, I saw that too, Ben. So...
Yeah, 100%. I get that. I definitely get that.
Cool.
Yeah.
There's a little bit in this, because I think there was either it was a comicization, novelization, or an extended one. I feel like there was a Last of Us comic series that must have had snow in it, because that's also in my mind.
Yeah.
I've got something in my brain, or it may be Walking Dead. Could be one of the two.
Totally. But. Yeah. And then we head to the not red dark room, because it can't be red, of course. But it is red, weirdly enough. But it's the dark room. So definitely makes a lot of sense. And in my notes here, I just have maze page, very cool. So we're going to look at the maze page. I just really like this page. Yeah. It's basically her crawling through all the vents, but they present it like a maze. And I think that's really fun.
It's a shame that there's no actual maze that you can do here.
Yeah, totally.
That's true. Yeah.
I did look at this for a while and I was just following some of the paths around. It's just kind of fun to look at.
Yeah.
This is my favorite page in the whole run. I really liked it. I literally kept flicking past it and I was like, man, I feel like they've peaked. That maze page was just too good. Which you'll kind of get from my notes from here on. It's all just a little bit So clearly for me, stop it at the maze page. That's my review. Because after this, we get the reveal that Anya is older and evil. Which I didn't see coming at all. That was a very unpredictable outcome for this comic. It's not like they were setting her up for the entire past 2 issues for
no.
to have a history with Natasha. But interesting twist, very interesting twist. Very happy with that one. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, I don't know. It might be a good one to adapt into a movie someday or something. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe, possibly.
I feel like we didn't talk about Anya all that much.
Yeah, we didn't.
Prior to this. But Anya was a friend of Natasha's back in the Red Room days.
I feel like we didn't talk about Anya,
younger.
But I feel like that's because, I don't know, when I was reading her pages, I was always just I feel like I've read this before. Every time I saw one of her pages and I started reading the dialogue, I was like, I feel like I don't need to read this because this is the same thing I've seen literally over and over again. It's like Uncharted 4. It's literally like any two kids in an orphanage who have a disagreement. It's just, and so like that's probably why I didn't make it into my notes and I didn't bring it up at all. But I think it's just because it's so unmemorable for me. I don't know. Maybe you disagree, totally. Josh, but.
No. I totally agree. I guess we were just like, oh, we didn't see Anya turning evil at all, and I'm like, well, we haven't even mentioned it. Emmy's not going to know.
Yeah, sorry, Emmy. Maybe you should read the comics.
Do it.
Read the comics. Yeah. Read some comics. Everyone read comics if you're listening to this. Comics are great.
Good.
It's almost like we based an entire podcast off of them. And so let's move into issue 5 of this comic, which is a car park. That's the whole issue.
Yeah.
I hated this. I don't know. That's just
it's a weird run of comics because it feels like it had a lot of traction to do something to be like a tight espionage spy story, and then it's just like as soon as she gets stabbed, they just go, oh well. I mean, we'll think about this later. Like, we know we've got like 10 issues to do this in, so we'll just worry about that shit later.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think obviously we're reading this as like a 6-issue thing, so it's a bit more isolated. But it does kind of feel like I do like it when even within like the volumes within a run, there's like a cohesive story, or at least there's like a satisfying ending, which I very much don't feel like we get here. And they do very much. It feels like we're slowing down a bit here, and they're like, oh, we need to work something out. So let's set an entire issue in a car park. And like I praised the comic earlier on in like issue 1 for doing like action scenes so well and doing like this kind of chase scene or fight scene super well. I don't know how you guys felt about this, but I found this very like busy and difficult to look at.
There was a weird panel in this that was split into 2, but the dialogue existed over both.
Yeah.
So one of them, the dialogue is like whole in one of them, and you can read everything. Yeah. And then the next one is like half of that panel and the second half of the image, but you only get half of the dialogue, and it looks really weird.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can find it real
quick because
please do.
I think I know what you're talking about, and it is very.
It took me a sec.
Disconcerting. That's the word.
Yeah, because usually like they would do that, but you wouldn't have the dialogue in it as well. Covering both panels. I was just going to say while you found that, I do like there's a bit of back and forth because she's like someone's after a package or something that she's handing over, and there is just that back and forth of you do have the package, yes, and she's like, who am I, Hawkeye? Of course I do. Yes.
Yeah.
Poor man.
Yeah. I feel like he gets shouted. I feel like in almost every Marvel comic we read, he gets shouted at in some way. It's almost always having a go at him.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, the Bucky and Sam one. It was shit.
Yeah. I've got it right here. Here we go. This is what Josh is talking about at the bottom.
Yeah, that bottom middle one.
They do it like twice. So they like cut off. They show us the full bubble, and then they show us half of that bubble in the next panel, and then they have another bit of dialogue, which is then covered by another bubble.
Weird.
And it definitely, it's this whole issue, in my opinion, is very like, it's very claustrophobic, which I guess is kind of what they're going for. It's very busy. It's very, I found it very hard to pass to the point where I just kind of skipped through a lot of it.
Yeah.
And it has the shield guy who's been like following her for a lot of this, a lot of this series, who we've also barely mentioned, but again, it's kind of because he's just that guy who doesn't like Widow.
Yep.
Yeah. It's the guy that she tripped up earlier with the tripwire that we talked about for 10 minutes.
Yeah. But it's like, I don't know. It's just not great. I did like the one bit where the car comes out of the car park and we don't have to look at the inside of the car park. It's just hanging off the side. That's the one bit I did like.
Also, this is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, right?
It is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Totally.
Yeah, good.
Some variation of. Yeah. We didn't.
It looks like a Luke Cage. It could totally just be the Luke Cage actor too.
It's Luke Cage. It's Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and it's Vin Diesel.
Yeah. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Vin Diesel, famously the same person.
That's true.
Yeah,
that is perfect. I love that.
Again. Wow.
Everyone listening to the podcast version, jump over to the video and just look at what's happening right now.
Will is Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
I'm Dwayne, and I like to talk about family. Also, I drank a whole entire water bottle when we were talking about a cool panel. So if you want to see that, you have to watch the video.
Yeah, you missed that one.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, that was during the ballet picture.
Oh, there you go.
Should we talk about the good stuff?
The good stuff. We will talk about the good stuff. The one other thing I did want to mention in this one is that both Dolphin Pants and Jay brought it up. There's an Assassin's Creed Blade car key style thing. It's very cool. I did have it up. Damn. This is because I had to go look for that other thing, Josh.
You did, Joshua.
Can't believe what you've done. Josh,
Mathletics boy.
Derailing this entire podcast.
This definitely is my fault.
Definitely.
This was in my notes, though. It's 100% in my notes. I couldn't not let this be.
But at the bottom here, we've got Natasha bringing out a car key, Assassin's Creed Blade style. I like that it's like it's the Assassin's Creed Blade thing, but it's like it's kind of like a multi-tool lockpick kind of.
Yeah, it's sick.
So sick, like a Swiss Army knife of hidden blades.
Basically, I like the idea that her wristband is just that she just
all the way around
hidden blades of different multi-tools. That would be very cool.
Yeah, but she forgets where it is, so she just stabs herself in the hand. She's like, "Fuck! I thought it was the bottom one."
But yeah, that's the only good part of this entire Carvark scene. The last page of this issue is also very good. And that's because I labeled it #Iron Man sucks.
It's because Iron Man's in it. That's why. That's why it's the greatest
Iron
part
Man
of this.
about to suck, because they set up that Iron Man's about to suck, and I'm right back in. And Dolphin Pants, again, jumping on the Iron Man hate. Oh, look, it's that amateur Iron Man, aka Ben's favorite character. Hooray.
Yeah, Ben's favorite. The shot of Iron Man flying definitely dates this comic as well, because it's very all new Marvel.
Invincible Iron Man
thing.
It's very much
so.
that outfit.
I think so.
With the very triangular looking.
It's very
that Ironheart kind of adopted. After the fact.
Very smooth, triangular. I don't know what it is about it. But it's cool.
Yeah. So
interesting.
Where I named that section of my notes #Iron Man sucks. We start issue 6 with the next section of my notes, which is, does Iron Man actually suck? Because in a massive twist of events, I was actually wrong. Iron Man on this occasion kind of doesn't suck.
Yeah.
Actually, Widow kind of sucks.
Got him.
Yeah. I will start by saying that initially when I thought Tony was going to suck, that I was like, man, I hate this. Because it was one of those things where I feel like I've read this in other Widow comics where like Black Widow has done a lot of bad, questionable stuff. And we're hating on her, and everyone hates her, and she has to go into hiding and everything. And I'm just like, oh man, doing this.
We do this all the time.
But then they do roll through that very quickly. And when Tony arrives, he kind of doesn't suck. He brings in, and he's like, he's not an asshole. He kind of comes to her at the phone box, and he's about to get really angry at her, and then he notices that she's like very worse for wear, and is like, okay, hang on, let's take a step back.
Yeah, like he gives her a chance.
Which
gives her a chance to actually explain.
It's rare for Tony.
But are we going to explain why he's angry? Why is Iron Man angry?
You're the Iron Man expert, Joshua. Would you like to explain?
Sure. Yeah. So in the previous issue, the information got leaked to the world, and so there's news outlets and stuff in this issue, basically saying everything, exposing all of her secrets, which is essentially that she was one of the main players in the kidnap and I guess leading to the murder of Yinsen, who is the man who helped Iron Man become Iron Man back in the cave. In the films, in the comics, it's always Yinsen.
Fantastic in the film, by the way. One of the only things I like about the Iron Man film in the MCU is that character. I thought he is amazing.
He is great. Yeah. So it's just a character that means everything to Iron Man, and he also talks him up a lot and basically says like he had the potential to do more for the world than I could have, or Mr. Fantastic could have, any of us could have. Like, he was a greater man than anyone else in the world, and you killed him, essentially.
So it's interesting, because this is my issue with Civil War and why I could never take Iron Man's side. Is that I get it, it's his dad, and he has it's you're always going to feel that way about your parents and stuff, and you're always going to feel sad about it. But he didn't have a good relationship with his parents, and like ultimately, we know that Bucky is a changed person. Why are you so angry? Like,
he likes plums.
Like,
he likes to eat plums.
Yeah.
No bad person has ever eaten plums before.
It's just my issue with that film is that I could never buy into the fact that Iron Man was so blinded by his rage that he couldn't just accept that that Bucky was a different person. And I actually feel like in this issue of this comic, there's like, he has a more legitimate reason for being angry, because he sets Yinsen up with all this stuff and is like, Yinsen is a better person than me, I'm admitting all this. And then in this comic as well, he also is like, takes a step back and is like, you know what? You are a different person. It's fine. And I'm like, man, both did you set up a better problem for him and you made him a better character in this one page of comic than I felt the entire time through Civil War. But that's just my opinion on that whole thing. I don't know. Would either of you like to rebut that?
And Josh.
That's fine. I get it. Like, he's a dick sometimes.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a bit of a meme. Iron Man sucks. Like, it's a bit of a meme at this point. But, like, I do think that is one of the things that I give this issue a lot of credit, is that in that entire interaction between Widow and Iron Man, it makes a character that I very much do not like, makes him the preferred character out of these two films.
That's right, yeah.
Widow immediately backstabs him. And I'm like, I was like, oh, Natasha, why? Now I really have no Tony-phobic leg. like, Natasha is very much the bad person here, which the fact that it's able to do that, kudos to you guys, because normally I'd easily take Tony's. Kudos to you guys specifically.
Thank you.
Because normally I'd take Tony's side, but you guys convinced me otherwise. Not Mark.
No,
Chris.
It was a great rebuttal to your Civil War theories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we come up against Brainy Boy. This person they've been teasing alongside the Weeping Lion across a lot of these issues in the background. This guy in the shadows with some curly hair. I think Dingo, Dolphin Pants. Dingo, there's your one shout out per comic cast. I think Dolphin Pants said at one point, is it arcade?
That's fair.
Which I also thought at one point, I was like, it does look very arcade-like. Also a character who's in the MODOK show, which is a great show.
Certainly is. Yeah. Watch it, Will.
And
Will just switched off.
Will just he's just done. He's fallen asleep. Will hates MODOK that much.
He does,
he can't fulfill the rest of this podcast. He's done. I'm sorry, guys. That's the end. We're done with issues.
Look at that hair.
William. Oh, yeah.
Needs a haircut.
Look at that hair. Yeah.
Fuck you.
That's amazing.
You said it first.
In Discord, it's slightly cut out. So it was even yeah.
I'm a robot, everybody.
Yeah. But yeah, we finally get the Brainy Boy reveal. And
then the comic ends.
And then the comic ends.
Basically.
It's basically really like they reveal that he's the brains behind the whole thing. It's like the least shocking twist again in a comic with lots of very unshocking twists. Yet another one. I do like Nat with the repulsor though. Cool. Very good.
She should have said, we always cover our ass.
Yeah.
That's what she should. And then
yes.
Yeah. I'll bring that up for you. We have Nat with the repulsor here with the little power up thing, which is very cool. And we also have.
It's so like formed to her hand that it looks like she's just got a light inside her palm.
Totally, it's just like a very tight glove.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we also have my other favorite panel of this comic, which is Ding Dong.
Ding Dong.
with the doorbell inside the dong, which is a sentence I never thought I'd say today.
Yeah, good.
But it's wonderful.
It's such a great build-up. Like, cracking her knuckles.
Yeah.
It looks like she's about to really take on something heavy.
No.
And it's just ringing the doorbell.
And it's that kind of thing where when you're reading it on like a phone and you have the smart panel stuff, it's like a really good lead up to it because you're flicking through them all and you're like, oh, we're getting ready for it. And it's just ding dong.
Ding dong.
That whole panel is almost like a good phone background as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, totally.
Like, it's such an epic start, and then the bottom is just funny.
Yeah.
I see what you mean, Will. There's a lot of good ones.
There's a lot of good ones, yeah.
A lot of good ones. And then that's kind of all I have for this issue. But then Dolphin Pants, I've been kind of integrating everyone's comments into the actual rundown this time because it just flows a bit better like that. But Dolphin Pants had a particular layout for his issue 6.
Yeah.
Which I wanted to go through. Do either of you guys want to read this, or should I read it?
Yeah, I should, because it's Tony themed.
Yeah.
Only the start. But
only the start. But
what if we take a line each?
Okay,
yeah, okay.
Well, yeah. So we're going.
I'll do the first one, and then we'll jump back to the top.
That's my favorite thing to do at a party.
Tony.
Yeah.
Taking a line each.
So me, Ben, then Will.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, Tony is mad. Look out, he might cause a civil war.
Uh-oh. I don't think I can read this anymore. La knock knock. What a douchebag.
Oh, Nat double-crossed him. Who would have guessed it?
Uh-oh, a telepath. Marvel has never done a telepath before. How unique.
Uh-oh. The anti-Snowden. How dated.
Oh, I do like the idea of Nat with a blaster.
I don't know what that was. I want Nat to step on my neck. Oh, geez. Okay. I had not read that before I read it out. That was.
Yeah, I'm glad.
I'm sure you saw that coming as well, Will, but I was so glad that Josh got to read that line.
Yeah.
Good.
And then the final bit that Dolph Pat says is, uh-oh, it's a finished. Will I read more? Probably. Did I enjoy it? Yeah. I don't know. And that's a good summary for the whole 6 for me personally. I don't know. How do you guys feel?
It was definitely not the most cohesive. Is that the word I'm looking for? Of the arcs that we've read here. Most of the ones that we've read, even when they've been part of an ongoing run, have felt like they finish. Whereas this one just kind of gives up. Even within an issue. It's not even like they did 3 and then went, okay, let's come back to it. It's like they just were running and just tripped. And then they went, oh, fuck it, it's fine. We'll get back to it later. Yeah. But it's still it's because I, like you, Ben, I've read a bunch of different Black Widow comics over the years. And this just reinforces how Black Widow was almost what it wanted to be, the film. Yeah. And whenever I come back to these comics, I'm like, God damn it, you got the formula. It's every comic knows what to do, but the movie just kind of forgot to be a Black Widow movie sometimes. Yeah. It's not about the movie, it's about the comics. And I thought they were kind of fine.
Yeah. Josh, what do you think?
I quite like them. I liked... there's just the little bits that are kind of funny and interesting and intriguing. I did really like the art and some of the creativity with some of the panels and stuff. Looked really good. So I really think I'm going to continue reading this.
Oh yeah.
Just to get to the end of it, because it wouldn't be long. It's probably 13 issues or something.
Yeah. I think it's 12 or something.
Maybe a bit more. Yeah.
I talked a bit of crap about this. That's mainly because there's a lot of tropey stuff that I feel is every Black Widow comic. But that's not for a bad reason, because the Black Widow comics are actually generally pretty good and I do enjoy them. I do tend to always read them through their entire run because they generally come to some kind of good conclusion. So I'm Josh, where I probably will go back and finish this one off just to see how it ends up, because they're always fun enough. And I think the nice thing about these kind of comics is a lot of it is a lot of action and stuff as well. So it's very easy.
It's very short to get through.
Through.
I read 5 issues very, very easily. And I am a slow reader.
But then he took his time on the 6th one because it had Iron Man in it.
Soaking it in.
Yeah. And I think it's always nice when you have some of them versus some of the wordier comics that you can get, because there's plenty of them out there. And
looking at you, Visions.
Looking at you, Visions.
Great comics, so woody.
And the fact that the entire first issue has very little dialogue at all and still works so well, of just like action. And as it said, it kind of just flows like a movie, to the point where I want that movie. I want that movie scene, as opposed to what we got. I think is a compliment to it. So like, towards the end, it maybe does lose its footing a bit. But as we mentioned, it's probably because it's the middle of its run, and I'm sure it'll pick back up. And look, it made me not hate Iron Man. So really,
pretty good.
That's a pretty high rating for a comic.
When are you getting a tattoo on your body of Tony Stark's face?
Oh gosh, look, I feel like that's going to be the result of some dumb bet I make with Josh.
Totally. Josh, I'm sure it will happen one day, but you need to get like the shit tattoo that Gary has in Iron Man 3. Like, how is that not the tattoo you got?
It's so tempting, but I don't know if I want to get a joke on me as a tattoo.
It's
like,
fair.
I get it. Maybe I'll just get it on a place that like no one will see, really.
Yeah.
I don't know, like a butt cheek tattoo or something. You know?
Oh my god. Yeah, post marriage.
Yeah.
When it's like it doesn't matter anymore. Yeah.
You heard it here first, everyone. Josh is getting a butt cheek tattoo.
But it's going to actually be a tattoo of Adam Pally dressed as Iron Man. It's not even going to be RDJ.
100%.
Yeah. We've given our final summaries of it. Jade also has a little final summary for it. She says, I really like how this comic shows the Black Widow is just as useful, capable, and dangerous as more superpowered heroes, just in a different way, of course. There's always a nagging thought when you read superhero comics that there's no place for mere mortals, so it's nice to read a witty and interesting comic about someone who presents as a somewhat normal, if very skilled human. And I agree. And I do think, as opposed to the Black Widow film, this comic does a pretty good job of accepting that she's a human and putting her in human situations most of the time. Which I do appreciate. But yeah, that's Black Widow.
That's what it is.
We're through. We've had finally another Marvel movie, and so we've finally been able to tie one of these into a movie and not a long-running TV show. And next month there's another movie coming out. Not a Marvel movie, weirdly enough. DC is actually releasing a movie.
Holy shit.
Remarkably. They're, of course, James Gunn's Suicide Squad, which is very exciting. I'm sure we're all very excited to go see that one.
The Suicide Squad, not to be confused with Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad. Dolphin Pants, of course, the King Shark lover himself. I'm sure very, very excited for this one. But that means that next month we're going to be doing a Suicide Squad comic. We're going to do Suicide Squad Bad Blood, which was last year, actually.
Never get blah, blah.
Thank you, William.
Absolutely nailed it.
Written by Tom Taylor, who...
Of course it is.
Who we love. There's two Toms that we love in
Best
comics.
mate around the corner.
Tom Taylor, Tom King. Tom Taylor lives in Melbourne. Probably in lockdown with us right now. Riding away.
Yeah, he's in Josh's roommate's room because he's not there at the moment. So Tom's in there.
Yeah,
he's very quiet
in there. Yeah, he's writing. He's writing all these things. He's writing his Nightwing and his Supermans.
That's it.
But he wrote a Suicide Squamic. He wrote a Suicide Squamic that came out last year.
Sick.
Perfect. To go along with the Suicide movie.
Yeah.
Suicide movie.
Both of them, you get a big plate of calamari.
Yeah, amazing.
Squid
calamari.
Squid joke, everybody.
Suicide calamari.
Will, it's like 10:30.
I only turn off when I want to turn off.
That joke just did it. I don't know what that did to me. Anyway, you can purchase the full 11 issues of it for about $30 ish from a lot of places online. Hang on one second, I meant to do this beforehand, but
he's got it, ladies and gentlemen.
Spoilers, Will.
It's fine, they're listening to it, they don't know.
True.
I meant to do this earlier, but here's one I prepared earlier.
He actually got it out. It's the back of it.
Nice.
There it is.
Cover too.
Yeah, this is the hardcover of it.
The thick boy.
Yeah, that's like the full 11 issues, which I got through Amazon on a sale, but I've had a quick look. You can get in a lot of places the full thing. I don't know. We'll probably just do 1 to 6, I think, because the last time we did 12 issues, it was a lot. So yeah, you can get the full 11 issues in a full hard copy if you want to. I highly recommend it because Tom Taylor is a great writer, and I'm sure this will be great to read. I can't wait. I've been holding off because I knew we were going to do this for a comic cast.
And you'll be able to get it signed at some point.
Yeah, signed. He's in Melbourne.
If you just come over to my place,
come over to Josh's, come to mine. Just come down to Melbourne. Tom Taylor's everywhere.
If you leave out cookies that have the Batman logo on them, he comes down your chimney and signs all your comics, even your ones that are already signed by Stan Lee. So make sure you put them away. No! Otherwise, Tom just ruins everything.
Yeah, totally. I'm gonna hide my Spider-Man 700.
Yeah, don't let Tom near him.
Yeah. But yeah, we see him on the daily down here, so just buy a hard copy this time for sure. But if not, you can read them digitally. You can get them on Comixology, a bunch of other places online.
DC Universe will come here 1 decade.
Yeah, look, originally when I made the original plan for this, I think I had DC Universe will be out by this point, so we'll be fine. No, it wasn't. No. But
that's what they're doing. They're working on the dome.
At some point,
I also had some decade.
Yeah, some decade.
I can't wait for the second dome.
It's going to be
Dome 2.
Dome 2. It's going to be a full sphere now. It was Atmosphere the first time around. Now it's going to be a full.
And if you want full coverage of that second dome, make sure to stay tuned to ETTO.
That's it.
Including
the D-sphere.
twitch.tv/currently @online. Possibly
currently @online. Yeah,
maybe.
I haven't heard back from Twitch. We want to make it better.
Yeah.
I even brought it up with the guys. Yeah, which is why that's fine. Were you in that call? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, how did Ben find out about this?
Yeah.
But we were talking about it at work. Even Pete was like, yeah, do it. So we're gonna try and fix it. But yes, currently, if you want to see us live, twitch.tv/@online.
Yeah.
That's ETT online.
I know Will doesn't want to do another dome stream, but I'll make
It'll happen. It'll happen.
Him. He'll be up at 3 a.m. in the morning or something, or whatever that is.
It's fine.
But that's not till October. There's plenty to watch until then. Josh and Will and Sam, not Josh and Will and Ben and Sam, Will and Sam stream that figures every second Wednesday, where they talk about figures that are too expensive for anyone to buy, but they buy them anyway.
But at the time of this recording, the next one, we will be talking about a Hot Toys King Shark, so Dolphin Pants and very sorry.
Yeah. And you guys also stream every Monday over on twitch.tv/@online in case you missed that the earlier time, and it's going to be very awkward if it has changed by the time this goes out.
That's right, we'll be streaming every day at 4 o'clock in the morning. So look forward to that, everybody.
And you can catch these guys also on youtube.com/each their own for all kinds of different shenanigans. I'll sometimes appear. You might be watching me there right now. And if you want to be like Dolphin Pants and Jade and join in with the conversation for these comic casts, which please do. We're always happy to hear from more people. So if you want to send your thoughts through, then we'll put them into the comic cast.
Send us your squats.
But to do that, you need to join our super secret Discord, and you can do that by heading over to patreon.com/each their own. Is that correct? I think
we got that one
correct.
Where if you support for $3 or more, you'll get access to that super secret Discord. We also just have a lot of fun chats in there about lots of different things. So it's a good time.
I pointed to my penis when you said that. What I meant by that was because we're on Discord right now.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. I didn't. Yeah. You don't get access to my penis for $3.
Yeah.
It's way lower.
Yeah. If you want to catch me in other places, I stream semi-regularly on twitch.tv/ArgonTV. Man, that just really got Josh. I'm sorry, guys. It is so late right now.
So late.
But we're wrapping it up. So twitch.tv/ArgonTV.
Will won't though.
What?
Stay safe, kids.
Stay safe, kids. Will, no, not at all. Never does.
We're talking about my penis?
Yeah, we are. Yes.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah,
good. And if you want to support Ben and I, you can go to backpocket.gg. Because give us money. Unless it's gg.pop.fury. Go to gg.popfury.
Yeah. Tell us what you find there, because we don't know.
Back pocket bits on the socials, because I post videos there sometimes, and Will has hats in some of them.
I do. Yeah. And I have my penis in all of them.
That's got to be the greatest piece of content from Back Pocket. Yeah. It's so good.
It is very good. I enjoyed making Will hats.
Thanks. Yeah.
This is just falling apart. Oh my God. I love it.
Josh does stream tapes, and also we stream together sometimes. You know all the stuff. Go Google stream tapes on YouTube. All that stuff. We love you all. Thanks, America.
Thanks, Germany.
And thanks for Googling stream tapes on YouTube. This is what Ben just said.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's okay.
I love it.
Stream tapes is the only thing you can YouTube or Google.
That's it. Out of all the things we've made.
All the things.
Even Back Pocket.
Back Pocket.
All right.
Good night, Germany. Now. Good night.
Yeah. Bye, everyone. It's been real.
We've got bad blood. Yeah.
Oh, that's not the screaming.
That's the wrong song.
Yeah.
Fucking idiot.